Well, I'm really excited about today. I'm getting less excited now because now I'm looking, I'm looking at our update. You're at 10% again. Son of a gun. What is going on here? Anyhow, technology. It's wonderful at times. Um, at other times, it's not as wonderful. But we'll figure this thing out. Technology sometimes brings to us messages and ideas and things that are going to improve our lives and make them better. There are quick fixes that are just all over the internet that's just going to just change us, you know, by the flip of a switch. And sometimes, so you see these challenges out there, you will see these new ideas that are just going to change your world immediately. What are your thoughts? Just not we're going not to get into them completely yet, but what are your thoughts on the impact of the internet in fitness and how it could maybe be a distraction, Kayla, or maybe not help people get exactly where they need to be.
I think that, well, first of all, if anyone guarantees anything, whether it's through fitness, whether it's through a program, whether it's through food, whether it's through a diet, whatever it may be, if it's guaranteeing something and they can put a time frame on it, that's a huge red flag.
Mm,
That's so if I've been trying not to scroll ever now. It's just like I go on, do what I need to do, and get off. But if I were to be scrolling and I see something like that, I immediately go past it because I don't believe in that, and I know that it's not truth because nobody can guarantee anything, can do anything. So I just wish, I think that there's a lot of good things out there, and people can learn a lot of a lot of healthy habits. They can educate themselves around nutrition and fitness, but there's so much other junk. It's hard to know. And then, we hear it all the time. People come in and say, "Well, I saw this on the internet. Send me a link. Oh, look at this. Well, look at what about this exercise? What about this meal? What about?" And it's like, you know, I would say in our job, that's one of the hardest things is to navigate and decipher and try to educate people on what is actually truth.
yeah, I get it, but if you think about people and our instincts and our desires, um, we want quick fixes. We want, and we're going to go. We will go if we see that thing, that Instagram post that says, "Eat these 5 foods and your belly fat will disappear." We're going to go there because we want that so badly. We want our belly fat to go away. And this thing is saying, if I eat these 5 foods, I'm going to get there, rather than, hey, here's a way to look at your fitness. Here's a way to look at your health and your exercise choices. And we're going to attack this thing, but it's not going to be, that guarantee like you used. Did you ever see those posts out there that say, do these 5 workouts, these 5 exercises, these 5 foods,
I
and
always
you will.
think this is what I think when I see that is I think, man, where did the cavemen in the Paleolithic era get their information? Because they were the healthiest people, the leanest, healthiest, strongest. They've done all these tests on their bone density that they found their, the remains of them, and they are supposed to have like the strongest bones in the time. Now, granted, medical advances have helped us live longer, but like from an actual physiological health standpoint, they were the healthiest. But they didn't have Instagram to tell them what 5 foods to eat. They just hunted and gathered. They went and hunted for meat. They gathered berries and whatever else they could get, and it's like that's what they ate, and that's why they were healthy. But for some reason, in our day and age, we have to rely on social media to tell us what to eat. And it's like, actually, no, we already know what to eat. We're just not doing it.
And they also didn't have DoorDash, right? Where they could
No
sit on their
DoorDash.
ass and have their food delivered to them. They had to go out and work for it, run for it, carry it. drag it, whatever it might be. So there was all sorts of things that led to the body composition that those folks had. But now, okay, but I don't want to confuse the audience because today I'm I don't know why I chose to do this. You offered, I accepted. I guess I like punishment. I like to lose. I guess I don't know. I haven't been able to beat you yet, so we're going to start just a challenge amongst ourselves. But the word challenge, talk to me a little bit about that. We exercise regularly. It's a part of our lifestyle. It's something that we want to do, enjoy doing. Not all the time, but most of the time we enjoy doing it. We like the results, the benefits that come with exercise. So when we think about a challenge, it to me it's different than some of these challenges that we see on the internet where
Mm-hmm.
they introduce something to you and in this 6 weeks you're going to challenge you to do this. Talk to me a little bit about that, how challenges can be good, all right, but a lot of times if you don't come at it from the right mindset and maybe even the experience, they can be very frustrating and actually cause you to give up on fitness rather than inspire you to fitness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I'll just say because it's something that I've been thinking about for a little while, and um, I mean, I feel like I am very good and consistent in my fitness, but there's a next level that I would like to get to right now, mainly leading into my Ironman. I know how I am, and when I am 100% dialed in, like all cylinders are firing, and that's when I have my best performance. I'm more confident, I recover better, and so for me, I was thinking, I'm ready to level up. I feel like I've been doing all the right things, all the basic things, but now it's time to like go all in and prepare for something else. Um, and it's not from a sense of, oh, I'm gonna go like off the wagon as soon as it's done. It's like there's a goal in mind and there's what I want to get to, and then I'll probably take a step back and kind of have more balance in life. But those foundations are still there. Like all the things that are non-negotiables are still there. But it's just like I just look at it as leveling up. And I've had some people in my life too that I feel like that are important to me that maybe need an accountability partner or need someone to uh, go at it with them. I think you're one of them. I think I have a couple clients that they do really well, like most of the time, but I just feel like the missing pieces is from a coaching standpoint. I can help them, but they're not having like a buddy coming alongside them and saying like we're doing this together. And so that kind of sparked my interest too. And there also, like from a standpoint, is I did a long reflection on this the other day because I went down a rabbit hole and went on one of my rants about 75 hard because we all know how much I don't necessarily agree with 75 hard.
But you do it.
But then I sat down and I thought, you know what? I'm back. I'm not, I think I'm a realist. Like I, I come up with things that I've either done or have failed at. And so I have a reason for things. But with 75 hard, I've never actually I mean, it's been out for years and years. I've never actually done it. I've bashed it a lot, but I've never actually done it. So, how can I say it's good or bad? Because I actually don't know what happens. And so, I mean, it's just, that was something I was like, it's just something that maybe I would like to try because I know myself and I'm not going to fall off the wagon after I do it. I'm not going to go like, what, like most people do. And that's my reason for not liking it is because they do something for 75 days and then it's all out the window. But I was like, I could see exactly how people feel. I could find the benefits. I could see the downfalls of this. I could understand how a person feels exactly while they're doing this because we have several people that have said like, yeah, I want to do this. So I was like, hey, well, now's a good of time as ever. And a lot of the things on there aren't for me. it's not a drastic change. There are a couple things, and they fit in alignment with things that I wanted to level up with anyway. So I was like, well, this will be a good time.
But you mentioned a couple things in there, and I think it's important, for our audience to kind of know where we're coming from with this. So you use the word, okay, level up, and here's how I see sometimes a lot of challenges, and a lot of times these challenges will be introduced to an audience that's doesn't have the right habits already in place, and they decide, well, this is going to kickstart me and get me going. And that challenge is, if it's truly going to be a challenge, it is outside your norm. It's not something you're used to doing. It's not something you have a habit for doing. So you are coming from a level of 0, and all of a sudden you're going to go to a level of 10. And that's hard. So when I see you say, hey, I want to level up and I want to go, maybe do this challenge and have some accountability partners and have some fun with this, you're going from an 8 to a 10. You're not going from a 0 to a 10. And I think that's sometimes where challenges can kind of have just an opposite effect on people. That's where I'm coming from with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. That's what, um, any clients that have come to me with some drastic challenge, I always try to like take it back a few steps and say, well, what if we started like here and we did these things for this period of time? Because they're like easier things to, dip your feet in the water, get those habits under. Then maybe we move up to where when you get to the point where you have to do all of these drastic changes, it's not so overwhelming. And then even if you do the challenge, then and at the end of it you take a step backwards, you still have all those foundations set in place because you've learned them. Instead of going from like 0 to 100 overnight, you gradually increase your speed, and just create a better foundation.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. So is so we are we're gonna start a challenge, and not gonna buy you another pair of shoes. Hopefully, hopefully
It'll be perfect timing.
yeah.
I'll need another new pair. A lot of miles on those other ones.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about some other things that are out there that sometimes you think you might be doing. You're making the best healthy choice, but maybe it deserves a closer look. I guess I don't want to say you're doing something wrong. I think maybe it deserves a closer look. So Let's kind of start with foods. All right. I'm just curious on your opinion on because you've said this before. When you sit down and you help people with their food logs, you will see things that they've logged, and they will say, well, I'm doing great. And then you again take a closer look, and it may not be exactly what they intended it to be. The nutrition aspect of it might not be exactly. Um, Smoothies. You got all these smoothie stores out there. Thoughts on smoothies? It's got fruit juice in it. It's got this in it. It's got protein in it. It's everything that you're asking me to eat. Talk to me about smoothies. What are your thoughts on smoothies?
Um, well, I think they could be good. I think that they could be extremely high calories. So, if you make a smoothie at home and you know exactly what's going in it, you could make a smoothie that's under 200 calories. If you're using, some type of almond milk or low fat milk, maybe you're using low fat Greek yogurt, you're using fresh berries, maybe, you're not putting in oats and peanut butter and whatever else goes into it, you could get a smoothie under 200 calories. But if you go out to a lot of smoothie places, the smoothie bowls are a big thing. Um, they're putting stuff in it. They're putting a couple tablespoons of peanut butter. They're putting probably not the highest quality of protein in there, and a lot of non high quality protein to make it taste better has a lot of sugar in it. So you're getting a lot of carbs from that. Um, Potentially they're putting like full fat yogurt in it, which is, high in calories. So what should be healthy ends up being a smoothie, which to most people is like a snack. or like post workout or something. They're not eating it as a meal. A smoothie that's a snack could be 500-600 calories. And so it's just, there's a difference in healthy, meaning like food quality, and then the calories that are in a food. Like low calorie and healthy aren't the same. So if your goal is to lose weight and to be within a certain calorie range, I don't think a smoothie out from all places are a good choice.
Good, good. I like that. I'm going on a plane. I've got a business trip, or I've got, I'm even going on vacation. I'm about ready to just go and just take in whatever I can. I may not eat the best, but I'm going to start this plane trip out right, and I'm going to walk by that McDonald's. I am. I'm going to walk by that McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, but that they got a little store there, that little kiosk store that's got this big bag of trail mix, and I'm going, I'm going to make a healthy choice. I'm going to grab this trail mix, and on that 3-hour flight, I'm going to finish the bag. But I'm healthy because I didn't eat McDonald's. What about trail
Yeah.
mix?
Well, I mean, I would say I wish I had the calorie comparison, but I bet if you got a single cheeseburger and a small fry from McDonald's versus an entire bag of trail mix, I bet that the trail mix had more calories in it.
Hmm.
It's just, a lot of trail mixes have, added sugar from the dried fruit. It's just nuts, which some nuts are good, but the way that they make trail mix is it's very easy to overeat, because it tastes good. So you're getting a lot of sugars and carbs from it. You're getting, and a lot of them have candy and shit in it too. And it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a regular trail mix with M&Ms in it, but but it's
There
not.
that's
I
my
don't
choice.
I don't classify it as healthy. I'm not getting it because it's a healthy snack. That's almost like a treat, like a reward, like a cookie or ice cream. Trail mix is in the same category as that. So yeah, if you're going for trail mix because it's a healthier or lower calorie option, it's not. There are a lot other things. Everything that's in trail mix is high calorie. So if your goal is to be not high calorie, trail mix is not the best option.
Yeah, so we have these foods out there that are deemed, I don't want to mean healthy foods, right? They have that that logo on them, right? There's eat healthier, uh,
Protein everything. That's
protein.
what
Yeah,
that's what gets me right now. The protein pasta, protein cereal, protein
bars.
chips, protein. It's like, oh my god! Just because you put protein Reese's, that's the one that really I saw it the other day, and it was like protein Reese's, but you take a Reese's cups that are regular Reese's and protein Reese's. The protein Reese's has the same fats, the same carbs, just more protein. So it has more calories than the regular Reese's. It just has a few more grams of protein. So it's like that's not healthy. That's more calories that you're taking in.
We
And
see
if you're
food.
trying to get in more protein, you shouldn't be getting it from Reese cups.
I agree. I agree totally. Just but we see these foods that again they just have they're advertised as healthy. Granola. How about granola? I mean, just because my wife actually Cynthia makes granola at home,
Hmm.
right? Different
Yeah.
than probably buying it. Though we went on a trip to Nashville and there was this nice marketed bag that said granola on it and it had chocolate covering on it. So but it's granola, and we see these kind of it's kind of like Kleenex and stuff like that. It has this name to it, and granola has this name to it. Trail mix has this name to it. Uh, Yogurt has this name to it. Protein bars have these names to it, and they're deemed, hey, make these choices and you're in good shape. But
Hmm.
not always the case, is it?
No, I think that's the biggest thing is if people are educated and aware and they actually take another step, can you get granola that is lower calorie and fits into your macros? Yes, you can. But just going and buying Nature Valley granola at the store is not the way to do it. Same thing with yogurt. Is like they have all these add-ins. I mean, there's yogurt now that has like sprinkles and M&Ms and M's and all kinds of fruits that you add into it, and it's like, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to be in a caloric deficit, those add-ins to the yogurt are still making that yogurt 400 calories. To whereas if you got a non-fat plain Greek yogurt, yeah, it's great. Like it's high in protein, it's low in carbs, it's low in fat or zero fat, and that's a good choice. And I mean everything. It's like, can you get good protein bars? Yes, you can get great protein bars. Cliff bars are not those protein bars because I always joke and say those are carb bars because if you look at the macros in them, there are twice as many carbs as there are protein. And, so it's not a protein bar. And you can get good bars, but you have to look at the food label and see, is it less than 200? You shouldn't be eating a protein bar as a snack. That's more than 200 calories. Because if it's more than 200 calories, it's not a snack, it's a meal. And if there's not,
Feel like a meal.
if there's not 20 grams of protein in it, then I don't label it as a protein bar. Um, you just have to be aware of what is actually in things because there are some good and there are some bad.
Yeah. What are some better choices? Talk to me about hard-boiled eggs.
I just ate a couple hard-boiled eggs. No, I think they're great. We were just joking in the gym last night. I love like Sheets when I travel. Sheets is my go-to. They have these buffalo hard-boiled eggs. Now, granted, I don't know what preservatives are in there, but I'm just going from a caloric standpoint. They're fantastic. They fit my macros well. They're easy. They're right there. Grab and go. Yeah, people say all the time, one of the biggest things for breakfast is they're like, I just don't have time to cook breakfast. Well, if you hard boil a dozen eggs on Sunday, all you have to do is grab them and go. They're already done. You don't have to make breakfast. So yeah, I think they're great.
Yeah. Yep. Another one of your go-tos is rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, we had one last week. I haven't had it as much as I did. I think I wore myself out there for like eating rotisserie chicken every week for the last 5 years. But same thing is it's like, sure, it's probably higher in sodium. It's probably, it has preservatives in there, but it is high protein. You peel the skin off. It can be fairly lean if you're not eating the skin and stuff. It's quick, it's easy, it's cheap. You don't have to prep it. It's in the fridge. You just grab it and put it on a salad, put it on a sandwich, and it's there. It's good to go. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Easy's good, consistent's good, boring's good, eating the same things but just knowing the value of what you are putting in your body, all right? And just not just looking at the brand, not just looking at the category. It's just doing a little bit more investigation into what's actually in the foods. Now, those were maybe specific food types, but sometimes we make decisions on how we even just organize our diets. We have intermittent fasting out there. We've got keto diets out there. We've got all sorts of ways to put our diet together, and everybody out there claims that theirs is the best. What are your thoughts on intermittent fasting?
I mean, I feel like if it works for you, great. There's a lot of good research behind it, but I don't know one person, including myself, that was able to stick with it long term. It was disruptive to life. I found that um, I could not enjoy meals with friends, family. My schedule got in the way a lot of times. So I ended up stressing more about food because it was like there was only a certain time window that I could eat. And I found also with a lot of people, they end up eating more when they intermittent fast. Like the science behind it is that you eat less calories when you intermittent fast because you're skipping a meal. And so in theory, if you take one full meal out, then you'll have less calories in the day. And people that do that, it works. For me, I had a hard time doing that because I was so hungry. I ended up eating more food than I normally would in my other two meals. So the calories equaled out or were more. And it caused like all kinds of digestive issues, which, from the science is actually the opposite. But it was like, well, if I'm eating so much in my first meal, I couldn't digest food and I would just feel bad. So, I think I know some people that have done it for a while and I think it can be good. But if you're doing it solely like for the purpose of losing weight and quick weight, like I don't think it's the best. Along with any other diet, is like if you could do it for the rest of your life, great, it's a good diet. If you can only do it for a short period of time, chances are you're going to lose weight and then gain weight on the back end because you're going back to normal and you are just excited to eat normal again.
But people make claims. I mean, and they're out there, and they're pretty convincing. All right. I mean, when they're out there, I mean, they're good marketers. I think, and maybe that's the point right here more than anything, is that when we see these things on the internet, on Instagram, wherever you're finding this information, uh, they're putting this keto diet out there, and they're making all these claims that go along with this keto diet, and but they're probably just as good a marketers as they are diet um,
Yeah.
programmers.
Well, I also think too, and I've had this conversation several times. Is there a lot of it's based on science, which is great. Like I love science. I love that there are educated people that do deep dives into this. But whereas I think sometimes people miss is the practicality and uh, of real people, of real situations, of real life, of real struggles. That's what it's more of a clinical thing, right? There's a lot of science out there that leads to these things and it makes sense, but it's taking the practicality out of a person's life. Um, it's like I just had this conversation yesterday. This is a little bit off topic, but I had a client that asked, well, she's not in like the studies show she should be in like zone 4 this much of time. She should be in zone 5 this much of the time. And the doctor says that you should be this. I saw this thing on Instagram that I'm not, I'm like, okay, you are 60 years old. Your goal is to lose a little bit of weight. You want to be strong, right? Because you have to do things around the house. What the hell does it matter if you get into zone 4 or 5? Like, I don't, it's not practical. Sure, is it best for you? Yeah, it would be best if we could hit all the zones. But you are currently losing weight. You're currently stronger than you ever have been. You've said you feel great. So what the hell does it matter if the science says you should be in zone 5? Like it doesn't. The same thing is like science shows that keto has all these benefits. Great, but if you can't stick to keto, what does it matter? Because your kids don't want to eat all fat all the time and not have any carbohydrates. Intermittent fasting has results, but if you can't eat breakfast with your kids or you can't eat dinner with your spouse, what does it's taken away from life? So yeah, that was a little bit of a rant.
It's not a rant. I mean, no, and sometimes rants are good. I mean, sometimes people don't listen to us talk, but when you get into this little like revved up kind of conversation, it gets people's attention. So I guess here's what I'm, just along the lines of diets, and we'll move on. But again, is there? So you've got science, but is there anything stronger than energy out, energy in? That's really in its simplest form. The food, if we've got more energy going out and more energy than we have energy coming in, food coming in, we are going to typically lose weight. And isn't really then, I guess maybe your thoughts on just, and I know this is hard for some people. It's hard for me at times, but just macro counting, just knowing that that's probably the best thing we could do.
Yeah. And I mean, I just think it's tracking. Like it's whether it's, using an app or it's just like keeping a food log and you calculate it up yourself, whatever it may be, is just knowing what is going into your body. There's a lot of awareness and realizations that come from logging food. And like we've always said, you don't have to do it forever, but you have to know what's going into your body in order to change. And I think too is like I'm not completely on the side of if it fits your macros, then it's all good. Because I also think we're not just weight loss coaches. We want people to be overall healthy. So yeah, you could fit your macros of eating McDonald's every day, but then the micronutrients that you would be getting for other health benefits isn't there. And so that's where, I think it's a combination of food quality and the macro breakdown or calorie breakdown of what you're consuming in and out.
Yeah, quality, quantity. That's a whole nother podcast. Could be, just going through that. So we've talked about specific foods. We've talked about diets. Let's get into training a little bit, and we'll wrap this thing up at the end of training. There's all different ways to train. I think we are supporters of anybody choosing to do something that creates movement, but not all are equal, depending on a person's goals and what they want to achieve. So, um, what about lightweight training? Just coming to the gym. I'm grabbing those dumbbells. I'm going through the motion. What are your thoughts on lightweight training?
Well, like you said, I think something is better than nothing. Um, I also think you could get a similar stimulus from lightweight if uh, if you did it correctly, but I don't think that's what we're talking about. Like if you're doing 30, 50 reps at lightweight, the ending 4 reps are going to be challenging, but nobody has time, and you're going to be putting your joints through a lot of strain to do that. So yeah, that's not what we're talking. That's not what you're talking about. I know is like we get a lot of women. They're like, I just want to do like high rep and low weight, and so you see them over there. They doing their green dumbbells for however many, and it's like that's not if your goal is to look better, which is a lot of people's goal is they want to look better, they want to feel better, and they want to be strong. That's what we hear in consults. I mean, is there anything else from a Gen Pop person? Feel better, look better, move better.
Oh, yeah.
Move better meaning like get perform in the world better. Um, and I think in order to do that, you have to push your limits and you have to lift heavy weight relative to you, right? Is had this conversation yesterday with a client, and she was asking it from a very curious, which I loved, and she said, well, I sometimes she was doing a deadlift. She said, why can't and I use these dumbbells all the time? And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, when I'm doing my front raises, I can't use these, and I had to explain to her, well, a deadlift weight is going to be much heavier than when you're doing like a front shoulder raise. Those are two different muscle groups. You're using a very major muscle group. You're using a very small muscle group. Like they're different. But getting people to understand it relative to you. What I might lift is heavy to me, but what if yours is something that's 20 pounds lighter? That's okay. It's still heavy to you. But yeah, I think the end of the story here is yes, you need to be lifting heavy weights relative to you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a runner though, and I get everything I need, from running. I mean, I don't need to really be in the gym.
Yeah, well, I can't count how many runners, like, I mean, I'm talking like higher level competitive runners that have come to me because all they did was run and they kept getting injured. And so, if you enjoy running, I'm like, yeah, run, run, run. Like, I love it. But you can't just run because you are going to get injured if that's the only thing you're doing. You are not going to be putting on the amount of muscle that you think you would be. Um, and if our goal is body composition and we want to look a certain way, you're not going to achieve that through just running. Um, so I think running is great if you do it in addition to strength training. I also don't think you need to run. A lot of people are like, I
But
just
that's
want to
how I
run. I'm like,
lose weight.
do it. And I ask them, I'm like, do you enjoy running? They're like, no, I hate running. I'm like, then why the hell do you want to run? Like, go out for a walk, like ride your bike, do whatever you want. You don't have to run. Like, literally, not one person has to run. The only time in life, if you had to run, is if something was chasing you or you were chasing something. And if you don't do that on a regular, then we don't need to be good runners.
I see I see a lot of these posts. And again, this is not we neither one of us are putting down another form of exercise,
Mm-hmm.
but Pilates, in yoga. That's all I just need. That's all I need. Again, I think it's similar to running, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think those are great supplemental exercises. I think there's a lot of positives that come from them. They put you in a group atmosphere. Like that's a lot of our clients do Pilates regularly on their days off in the gym. And I love it. It's like that's their time together. They go, they said they feel good when they're in there. Like, they're feeling limber. It's challenging in a different way than the gym, which I think is perfect. I think it's when people solely focus on one avenue. And even with us too, is like, I don't think, and I'd say this to all of our clients, I don't think just coming into the gym and lifting weights 3 days a week is enough to show results. We're pushing people, do things outside, like get an active hobby, go hiking, ride your bike, play
Play pickleball.
basketball with your kids, like do things outside of the gym because that's what accelerates. Never, not one person do I say, yep, all you need to do is lift weights 3 days a week. But I do think on the other side of fitness, what we're talking about, people are selling that is like, yeah, if you do Pilates 3 days a week, you do yoga 3 days a week, you do spin classes 3 days a week, that'll be enough for you. And I just don't think it is. So, same thing as if somebody's guaranteeing you results from this and they're saying, yes, you can hit everything you need just with these, I think that's a red flag.
Yeah. So not again, not necessarily better choices, but just I think it all comes back to just an individual's goals and what they want to achieve and where they are in their life at this point. But I don't think you can go wrong with resistance training. It kind of hits all of the buttons, doesn't it?
Yeah, it hits a lot of the buttons other than um, keeping your cardiovascular health up. So, I tell that to people. I have some clients, they just don't want to do any aerobic training in the gym. And so I try my best to put it in so they get a little bit, and I try my best to push for some walking and maybe some type of aerobic work outside of the gym so they're also getting that. But I think those two things, some type of aerobic work, where you're getting your heart pumping and you're breathing hard, and then heavy difficult resistance training. Because I think heavy is relative. It's like challenging. Because something might be challenging at a very light weight, so it's like a challenge. But I think those two things together are like the best recipe for it, for progress, for health.
I think helping people just understand their body a little bit more and what it's capable of doing. Yeah, talk to me a little bit, but because I like this and I like when we sometimes we put people on the bike and they just get on the bike and they start pedaling and they don't know why they're doing it. They don't know what the outcome should be, and I really like it. And you can almost see it in their eyes too. And when you say, "Hey, well, why don't we set this bike up this way, or why don't we set up the ski this way, or this rower this way?" And I'd like you to pay attention to how your body feels at this pace and how your body feels at this pace, so that when you decide to go to Cooper's Rock and you're going hiking and you look at that hill that you got to climb, you don't get halfway up and say, I can't go anymore because my body's telling me I can't. You learn something in the gym through kind of how we help people understand pacing. Talk to me a little bit about that and your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean everybody's body has threshold limits, so it reaches a point and it can't push any harder, and usually it crashes after that point. Um, or there'll be a lactic acid buildup. There'll be some type of consequence for you reaching that point. You might puke. You might faint. You might, there are things that lead up to that, and you have to understand that point. There are limits right before that threshold that you can recover from, and rest and repeat. And so there are paces that you can sustain for long periods of time. And based on what you do in life. Now, granted, this isn't for everyone because I mean, I do think it's for everyone, but not everyone will be able to relate to it as well. But if you are someone, I have a client that's leaving this week to go on, I mean, God, I don't even know how many miles, some mega hike in the Adirondacks, and like gone for a week hiking the whole time. So it's like, and I'm confident because she spent a lot of time in the gym pacing, knowing what her body feels like. You don't want to push those limits when you're going to be hiking for 5, 6 days. You can't push the limits, but you also need to get through the hike quickly because you don't want to be stuck out there. And so it's like, well, I need to push hard enough that I can sustain this over a full day in multiple days. I can recover from it. I think that's a like really good tool. I think if you're someone that works a manual labor job, knowing what you're doing in the gym, and then when you're outside, you working on the roof or doing whatever you're doing, you know what that feels like when you reach that point of like, okay, I better back off a little bit, or man, I got some left in the tank. I can speed up. I can get this job done a little bit faster.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have people, like one of our clients in Bridgeport that just went on this 20-mile hike, and
Mm-hmm.
she was training for it, and she was
Yeah.
trying, right? And yeah, and they got it done.
At 70 years old, at that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's but all right, so cool. So today was kind of more of a, a lighthearted thing, more just a conversation about just being just being conscious, being aware of the media, and what you're allowing your brain, and to feed, what you're feeding on. Not, not necessarily exactly the food that we're putting in our body, but what we're listening to, what's out there, what people are promising, and and um, and just being conscious of that, before you just go, oh, I'm going to do this. This is going to be best for me. And I guess I'll just fall back on that's. I think that's one of the importance of having a coach, and just having someone with maybe a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more experience than you, so that you can go to them. And again, I think I know this. I know you. I know Chloe. I know Kurt and myself. You know, I've had some pretty interesting things brought to me in my consults about what people want to do, um, and it's great. We listen, and we support as much as we can of that idea that individual might have, but then we kind of try to redirect them into something that really is more realistic and actually, more beneficial for them at this time. Final thoughts on your end, and I'm just going to tell the audience right here. This podcast may be uploaded maybe by Friday, because you're at 15% right now.
Mine says 99%.
Yours is 99%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why is mine say
We'll
50?
see as soon as we get off. I'll leave it up though.
Please, okay. But just your final thoughts as we
Final
kind of
thoughts.
wrap up today.
Um, I think is just to clients or anyone listening is before you jump into something is just think about it. Ask yourself, is
Too good to
this
be
right
true.
for me? What'd you say?
Too good to be
Yeah,
true.
too good to be true. And if you are in new to like eating and fit eating healthy and fitness is just like take one more step and like really um analyze, I guess, what you are doing, making sure you're just not falling into marketing or uh past thoughts around nutrition or what someone told you. Like do your own research, and it could be as simple as looking at a food label,
And
and
even the
understanding.
emotion, right? Even the emotion of it. I mean, think about when we want to make changes, we can get very emotional, and emotion drives a lot. Sometimes will drive the choices we make, and we've heard this. I mean, I don't know. I've heard this all the time. Don't make big decisions when you are too emotionally invested in something. And I think that's where the marketing comes in. I mean, they do a good job, and they tap that emotion that you're tired of feeling the way you're feeling. You're tired of looking the way you're looking. You're tired of not being able to walk up a flight of stairs. And I've got the answer for you. Just do one, two, three, and it's going to happen. I'd just be weary of that, right?
Yeah. And I think like our marketing out there grabs people's attention with that, but it's on we do what I say on the back end, right? Is like, yeah, that's how people feel. We need to grab their attention. But then immediately, our message is we're going to teach basic habits. We're going to give you accountability. We're going to give you support. It's not, we're going to fix you in 30 days, you know? So, yeah, I think the attention grabbing is good because that's how people feel. I think the promises made are where the red flags are.
Exactly. Cool. So beware of red flags. And I've got a red flag on your update status, but so I'm going to beware of that, and we'll go from there. But hey, I always appreciate just the knowledge you bring to this conversation. I hope our audience really is listening to those little nuggets that you bring each week. Okay, this is something totally different. We got to finish this thing up. But I was about to say, and there's these little things that bug me. All right, like irregardless. That's not a word. It's out there. It's not a word. I was about to say each and every week. Okay, well, why am I putting each or every in the same sentence? If I say every week, that means each week. If I say each week, that means every week. But we've got these little comfort things that we say each and every week. But I hope the audience really gets that what you bring to the table every week. And and next week we got, I think, something pretty cool, right? Lauren's going to
Hopefully.
join us.
Hopefully.
Did
She
we
doesn't
did we
know it
get that
yet, but
confirmed?
I'm gonna tell
She
her that.
doesn't know. And we're gonna have a conversation that I think I don't know where I fit into this conversation, but you know what, I do. I think it's something this conversation we're gonna have next week is very, very important to men. I think it's more important to women, but I think it's very, very important that men understand it better as well.
Hmm.
So
I agree.
I think we all can benefit from next week's conversation. So tune in then, and we'll see you then.
Cool. See ya.